Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I started this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me when I go live on YouTube most weekdays, or outside of my live stream. You could consider joining the Discord I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place to get some ideas of the meals that we enjoy on our diet. Today is day 758 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based SOS free diet to lose over 225 pounds so far. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. We just had Thanksgiving weekend in the US. If you made it through the weekend, let me know how you did. If you struggled this weekend, let me know what caused your struggles, and what can you do in the future to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative. Let's see. What is this? There we go. Big, right in my face. All right. I hope everybody had a great weekend. It's been since last Tuesday. It's been 6 days since I've been on. It feels like it's been forever since I've been on here. But we had a great weekend. We had lots of traveling. I'll go over some of that here in a little bit. But overall, it was an enjoyable weekend for us, for everybody. Gosh, I should have wrote a bunch of notes down, I suppose. I got to figure out my picture seems off again. Let me see if the camera here looks like it's low. Give me a second. I'll figure it out. This camera here. No, it seems weird. All right, well, that's not it. No, that's not fixing it. All right, I guess I just got to sit up more. Our Tiny Acre says, luckily your parents eat like you, so it was pretty easy holiday meals. Yes, we were fortunate that my in-laws eat a plant-based diet, so it was easier for us to eat while traveling than it may be for some other people. But yeah, it made it a lot easier for us because they are eating the same way as us. Or not same, but similar to us. And they are very accommodating. They made sure that we had lots of options for food. The things that I had to say, so I expected to go this weekend and be perfect on my diet and then come back today and get on the scale and just blow the scale away. And that's not what happened. I think part of that is because we did prepare, or we did take the time to make sure that we had plenty of food. So I didn't go hungry at all this past week. And as a result, I actually gained a little bit of weight. I think maybe a little bit of combination of the traveling and the stress of and then some of the food may have had, like, I don't know how picky I need to be about salt in beans. Like, it's hard to get canned beans that don't have salt. And I know that some of the food I had some beans in it that had salt in it, so that might be something that affects my body retaining water. I tried hard to stay compliant, and I'll go through some photos here, I guess, to show the food I had. The other thing that messed up, or didn't mess up, would have kept me from losing weight, was I did allow myself to eat some higher calorie dense foods while traveling. I had cashews, which is something that we don't have in our house normally, and something that's a little bit higher calorie density. The other thing that I really relied on heavily throughout our trip was Lara bars. I had lots of Lara bars, of different flavors, just as a snack, something to eat, and I stayed compliant, but the calorie density of Lara bars is somewhat higher than I would normally have, or I would not normally eat anywhere near as many of them uh, as I had this past weekend here. So let me see here. I'm trying to go back and find photos from as far. Our Tiny Acre says that you gain when you eat Lara bars. Yeah, I could believe it. I mean, they're very good. They're really delicious, and hard to resist, when you're driving and going down the road and you're hungry and there's food in the bag next to you. It's hard to resist eating that food. What you have to do is make sure that that food that's in the bag next to you is appropriate, or it's not something that is super high in calories when you're trying to lose weight. And that would be something that I don't know that I would change, but having the cashews and the Lara bars are, like I said, it helped me get through the weekend, but it also, I think, may have, it's hard to blame just those things, because I ate a lot of food throughout the whole week, and I'm going to pull that up here. And I don't know what I have here. So I have photos all the way back from what would have been last Tuesday, would have been the last time that I streamed. And so I'm trying to see, this was okay. And then this was another thing we had Tuesday, that these were delicious, but these had miso on them. And that's not something that we have a lot of generally either. So these were some smashed potatoes with some seasoning on them. Like I said, there's miso on the potatoes, and then there's mushrooms, red onions, and carrots, some red peppers in there as well. These were amazing. I could have eaten plate after plate after plate of that, and definitely could tell that there was miso in it. It was really good. But that was dinner on Tuesday. And then I didn't take any photos of anything on Wednesday at all. So Wednesday was our travel day. Like I said, I had lots of Lara bars, lots of cashews while we traveled. We did take some potatoes. So on the trip down, Carrie says, yeah, the potatoes we had here, these were really good. But if she was going to make them again, she'd use half the amount of miso that she did this time. Yeah, they didn't need as much as was on there, and they were very addictive. Like I said, I could have eaten a lot of them and been very satisfied. Trying to think of anything else that would have been on our travel day. The travel day, we actually went and hung out with friends that night. So that was something. I didn't take any photos of the food that we took on that trip, but the day that we traveled, Plants Only Muncher says, "This is your first time posting here." Well, thanks. You've been following me since the first time I was on Chef AJ. I really appreciate that you are following me and that you found me from Chef AJ's channel. It's been a great experience both times I've been on her show. Our Tiny Acre says that you use roasted garlic broth in your mashed taters, and you notice it tastes salty to you now, and it didn't used to when you use that roasted garlic in there. But yeah, the travel day, we traveled, had some cashews, like I said, had Lara bars, but had lots of fruit on the way down. Had much more fruit, and we're definitely more prepared going down than coming back. And that's something that, again, it's hard to plan for your trip back, before you even leave. And with this diet, I felt, like whatever food you do take, you're going to eat it as it's available. And that's with any diet, you're just going to eat all kinds of food. So, um, the travel back, we could have prepared a little bit more, but the travel down, we had, food, and then we had an event, or we had a hangout that evening, and it was interesting going to a group or gathering, because we hadn't seen a lot of these people for a long time. And then I did get a lot of praise about my weight loss, which is awesome. It felt great to have that affirmation that, I look as good as I feel. And but for that event, it was a taco bar. We had they had made lots of traditional taco things, and then we brought some vegan taco meat for our kids. And right away when we got down to St. Louis, we brought our own Instapot. Her parents actually have an Instapot, but we brought our own just in case we needed more Instapot um, space than we had available, so we brought it. But we made an Instapot of the Spanish rice and beans, and we brought that with us. So me and Carrie had food to eat for dinner. Carrie says, "We are the biggest nerds we know." Yes, we brought our own Instapot. We are nerds. Um, and so we brought our own food. We had a big Instapot full of Spanish rice and beans. We were rushed cooking it, and so it didn't turn out perfect. It wouldn't have been the dish that I would love to bring to an event and say, "Hey, this is our vegan dish." But the one of the people that ate it said they enjoyed it. They liked it. I liked it. I always like it, but I'm not real picky about the food. Um, so yeah, we had that for dinner on Wednesday. And like I said, it was really great to go to the event. I got to pitch a little bit of plant-based dieting, but I try not to be too much of a not to get on a soapbox too much, unless people ask me questions or want to know more about it. So Wednesday food was great. It, like I said, the Spanish rice and beans was a great thing to have for the for us to bring, and we made sure that we had food. Uh, let's see. Um, our tiny acre says that your family all have Instapot, so you don't have to take one anymore. And we knew we probably didn't need to take the Instapot, but we had a little bit of extra space with our 4 kids and our 2 dogs in our car. I still found some room for an Instapot. So um the uh but yeah, that night went great. Thursday was Thanksgiving. Uh, and for breakfast on Thanksgiving Day here, I had, here we go, oatmeal. This was some oatmeal that I had here. Took a couple photos of that. And then Thursday, this was around 2 p.m., just some potatoes and broccoli. This was all this is potatoes and broccoli. This was kind of a pre-Thanksgiving dinner meal that I had to eat. And then this was my dinner plate for Thanksgiving here. So this is the potatoes. There is a mushroom. Carrie had made this mushroom and onion mix for everybody, that before she added the salt, oil, sugar ingredients, or any of those ingredients into it, she pulled a little bit of mushrooms out. And so there are some mushrooms in there. I threw some corn on there. And then this, I don't know if this is, it's not Linda's meatloaf, but this is like a lentil loaf or something. All my photos. That was SOS free, and I'm not sure what it was called, but that was my Thanksgiving meal, and I actually had 2 plates of it. I don't think I took photos of both plates, but I did eat a lot of food. I really enjoyed the food that I had. And the only thing I would say, Carrie, I don't know if it was before this or not, but the potatoes in the Instapot didn't come out as soft as they normally do. Carrie at one point, I know, just took the Instapot and just filled it with potatoes. But the potatoes all weekend, it was funny that they just were a little harder than um, I'm used to. And I don't know if it was the bag of potatoes that we got, just like when you get a bag of oranges, the oranges are different. When you get a bag of potatoes, the potatoes could be a little bit different. So Carrie is saying that the gravy mix, or the mix I put in with my potatoes, it's mushroom gravy from the plant-based Woman Warrior cookbook. Carrie says it was amazing. I did not have it because of the liquid aminos and the miso in it. So that's why I didn't have it, or she pulled it out for me. And the loaf there on the plate is the autumn loaf from Drina Burton's Plant Powered Families cookbook. So that was my Thanksgiving dinner there. And then Friday, back to oatmeal for breakfast. Let me see. I kind of got all kinds of other photos on my phone from the weekend. So give me a second to find some more food photos. Um, and so Friday, uh, I was at my in-laws' house. Carrie was shopping with her mother. And so I ended up just kind of making myself and my father-in-law a pretty simple um, lunch. I mean, it took a few minutes to make, but I just took some mushrooms, chopped up the mushrooms, threw them in a pan with a white onion is what they had. So I just chopped up a white onion. And then this is Rotel tomatoes. It was no salt added Rotel that they had in their cupboard. So I threw that in there, just kind of took some of the ingredients they had at their house. And so, and Carrie's bringing up the Instapots that we had on Friday, the ones I just showed. Not the steel cut oats that we had were instant steel cut oats for breakfast, because that's all they had, and it was very creamy compared to what we were used to. It was very creamy and different. But this is Friday's lunch here. So I put that in a pan, let it cook for a while, took a few handfuls of spinach, threw spinach on top of it there, and then added some frozen corn at the end. Let that kind of cook up the spinach and get all together. And then you can't really tell, but I just threw it on a couple mashed potatoes. If you look close, you can see the mashed potatoes there, but there's a couple mashed potatoes there, and then that vegetable mix. It was good. I didn't add any seasonings because I wasn't sure what she had. Red wine vinegar, and she had uh some other vinegars, but I didn't see anything that said like balsamic vinegar. So I just ate it like this. My father-in-law did put some vinegar on it. I'm not sure what he put on his, but yeah, that was just a lunch I made for myself at my in-laws' house. Like, thankfully they do have lots of ingredients, and I think they probably picked up a few ingredients just to satisfy, that followed our diet that me and Carrie are trying to follow. This is just that same meal kind of mashed up or mixed together there. And then this was Friday's dinner. This was a meal. This was amazing. My mother-in-law made this. It was a chili that she had made up. This was one of the meals where I don't know that the beans were salt-free beans. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, or how much of an effect it would have on my body versus what I normally eat. I'm sure I get some sodium in some ways in our diet already, but this was really awesome. the big chili beans in there were really great, and it was a good dinner on Friday evening. Um, I think that by the end of the day, Friday, Carrie had started to feel guilty. Um, yeah, Carrie said that was a frozen. The chili was something that was frozen that she had prepared before we got there. So we're not exactly sure what all the ingredients were, but it was good. It was really a great dinner. Like I was saying, I think by the end of the day, Friday, Carrie was feeling bad about how the amount of potatoes I had been eating throughout the trip. We had potatoes on the way down. Every meal, essentially, other than the oatmeal, was a base of potatoes. So we went and picked up some ingredients. This is gonna be the Saturday's oatmeal, and then we picked up the ingredients and had our polenta, which was amazing to have that. Uh, while we were traveling down there. These beans, again, it's hard to find the cannelli beans that don't have salt in the, the can. And so these beans might have that a little bit of salt in them as well. Hey, Anthony, I hope you had a great weekend. I'm just going over some of the food that I ate and just kind of the weekend overall. Um, the but yeah, this was great to have. Carrie made a double batch of this, so I had plenty of this, and so this is part of the reason why I didn't lose any weight while traveling was because I had such an abundance of wonderful food. And then she also got the ingredients to make this pumpkin lentil. This isn't a very uh, uh, good picture of it here, but this was a dish that we had had shortly before we left, and I was a big fan of it, and so we got the ingredients for it and had it again while we were down there. And it's something pumpkin and sweet potatoes, red lentils. It's really good. Um, and then let me see what's way over here. So this is the yesterday. So that was food on Saturday that I had was the polenta and the red lentil chili. And then this was yesterday, had leftovers of the polenta there. And then last night we traveled. Um so yeah, the pumpkin red lentil chili is the chili that I had. It's on the Pinterest board, Carrie is saying. And then we traveled back yesterday, got home and had some more Spanish rice. Didn't have any beans in it, but this was dinner last night and actually my lunch today. And I didn't take photo of it today, but then this was breakfast today. We didn't have any spinach, so Carrie threw some carrots in the oatmeal for breakfast today. So um that was all the food or a lot of the food. I guess I didn't take any photos of the Lara bars. I should have just put pictures of boxes of Lara bars up on the screen here. But that was the meals we had. So it was great to travel, be away from the house. You know, we were away from our house from Wednesday to Sunday, and I never felt like I was hungry at any point, which was great and helped keep me from falling into the temptations or to giving into the temptations because I was always really full and I was never starving or to a point where I was like, oh, I got to eat something or I'm not going to be able to make it the next, hour. And that I felt like it was something very important going in to this weekend was that I needed to make sure that I was eating as much as possible when I was around food that I could eat. And there wasn't many occasions there were no occasions where I didn't have any options. We went out and hung out with friends. We had plenty of Spanish rice and beans. we did Thanksgiving at the in-laws' house, had access to lots of great food at their house, and never put myself in a position where I was going to be without food or going to be potentially hungry enough that I would give in to those temptations. So that was something going in. I was kind of stressing to you guys is important to do. And I believe that that's what helped me get through the weekend without having any complications with really giving in to temptation. So, I hope you guys that all had a great weekend if you were traveling and you figured out what you needed to do. But now we're back home and we're back into the swing of things. We're back into doing the our food. There's no temptation around anymore. There's no cashews in the house. There might be a few Lara bars left over from the last box, but the now that we're back in our own environment, it's nice. I'm hoping that the weight drops quick on the scale. I was surprised to see it go up, but there's lots of things that factor into it, and I don't believe that the food I ate isn't the biggest reason why I gained weight. Like it's gonna be the really I believe that when you're stressed, which I had fun and it was great, but it was still a very stressful the whole thing was stressful. Like I said, we had 4 kids and 2 dogs in a small car driving down there, and then you're not at your own house, and it's not my parents' house, which might make it a little bit more comfortable, but um you know and then I'm worried that my kids are gonna get into something or the dogs are gonna run away, and so the whole time you're kind of at a little bit higher stress level than when you're at home. And I believe that stress plays a big part in the amount of food that your body retains. And that shows up on the scale. When you look at things, when you look at it on the scale, you're going to see, you know, that retention of weight. And it's not anything that you've done because it's not because of the food that you were eating. It's just because of the situation that you're in, the timing of everything. So um, I believe it'll shake off pretty quick, and hopefully by Wednesday it's not an issue. But we'll see tomorrow more. Um, I don't have a whole lot more to update about today. I just wanted to go over the food. I had a great weekend. I really thought that it was going to be a little bit tougher. Um, our Tiny Acre says that they always get stressed when your whole family is together. You love them and all, but you're usually in much quieter spaces. Yes, I like being in a quieter space too. Barb says, congratulations on navigating the holiday weekend so successfully. Yes, it was. I would say I was successful. It wasn't what I necessarily pictured in my head leaving town, but that's kind of the way life is. It's never gonna go as you plan. I definitely got to give a huge shout out to Carrie in all of it. She made sure that we had lots of food prepared for the way down there, and like I said, I think she stressed a little bit about me not having much of a variety of a diet, so she made sure that we went and got some food, and we had that polenta and white beans, and we had the um pumpkin red lentil chili. So really Carrie was a rock star for me this weekend, and been a huge reason for my success so far. So thank you so much for uh being awesome this weekend like you always are. But anyways, I am going to get out of here. Got a couple things to do at work. So thank you guys for the support. I appreciate you. And I'm excited about reaching my goal and succeeding, and you guys all being there when I succeed. So um and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And if you have not hit that subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. If you have not hit the bell icon so you get alerted to all my videos, make sure that you hit the bell icon so you get alerted to my videos. If you haven't hit the thumbs up on the video and commented down below, make sure you do those. And last but not least, if you've not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Maybe you already said it all last week. You know, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to start on Monday. Well, Monday is here, buddy. Let's get started. So don't hesitate any longer. Nobody that reaches their goals looks back and says, man, I wish I would have waited. Anybody that gets to their goals looks back and says, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have known what I know now then, and then they would have started sooner. So get started. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.